Hello guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer. And to all of you that keep coming back, hello and welcome back. Quick reminder, if you've never subscribed, just to remind you to click that red button there that says subscribe, and after that click the bell sign. That way you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. So today's video I'm going to be talking about Tonto Dike and her interview with Daddy Freeze. So I just have a few things I really want to say about this video. I'm not planning to say too much. I just want to say a few things, right? When I watched this video, I was amazed, honestly, at the amount of support she was getting. Like, you can see in the comment section, you can see the support from even men and women. And what I really want to address is this, right? I'm going to address Tonto TK in a minute. I just want to address the rest of us, okay? So the main thing I wanted to really talk about this video is, I wanted to talk about the idea of pain, pain. Yeah, you see, pain is the feeling that it's a personal thing. You can't tell someone else how to feel pain. You can't tell someone, oh, that the pain is not that much. You can't really say that because you don't feel the person's pain. Pain is such an individual thing, personal thing. You can't tell someone else how to feel it or when to feel it. So this is her story, this is her life. We didn't live her life for her, so we have to respect the fact that this is her life. This is a pain. Whatever, you can tell from her voice, she's angry, she's offended. You can tell from the way she was talking about it. So I really wanted to really talk about the aspect of somebody's personal pain, and let me explain it by using this example for you guys. In nursing, we are taught in nursing that pain is what the patient says it is. There's something we call pain management. It's basically, as the name says, is a management of pain. And when it comes to pain management, we are taught that pain is what the patient says it is. It's as simple as that. You as a doctor or you are the nurse, you can't tell the patient, no, your pain is not that much. We have something we call, the pain score. So that you ask the patient, what is your pain between 10 and 0? What is it? The patient can say it's 5. Or it's 10, 0, or it's 1. Some people will say to you it's 15 to let you know that it's actually more than 10, to let you know that my pain is too much. But you can't tell the patient, come on, there's no way you have 10. It has to be 2. You can't say that. Do you know why? Because you are not the one feeling the pain. So, and then when a patient asks for painkiller, as a nurse, I have to give it. We have a ladder. There's something we call a ladder where you start from the bottom, and the patient says you start from as mild as paracetamol. You keep going higher. Like, if the patient says the paracetamol didn't work, you give the patient something else. Whatever is prescribed anyways, and you have to keep going on this ladder of managing this patient pain. Even after everything, the patient said, I'm still in a lot of pain. It can even get to the point where the pain team can get involved. There's a team they call the pain team. And when they get involved, they can come up and say, we're going to give this patient something they call a PCA. And PCA is basically patient control analgesia. Basically, the patient is, long story short, is where you put the needle, how do I say, in a layman's way, you just put the needle into the patient, and you put a pump. You actually connect this painkiller into the patient, right? What happens is, whenever the patient is in pain, the patient will press the button, and this machine will give the patient a medication. This is how much seriously, this is how seriously a patient's pain has to be taken, because it is a personal thing. They would then give themselves, anytime they have pain, they press the button to relieve themselves of their pain. This is, and this is how we manage patients' pain in hospital. You have to keep managing it until the patient is happy. Because they are the one feeling the pain. You can't tell someone how much pain they have. It is a personal thing. Let's not forget the fact that you're looking from the outside, okay? I know people that feel like our mothers before us, they were this and they were that. Our fathers before us, it doesn't matter what they did before us. If our mothers didn't feel any pain, in your opinion, she says, I'm in pain. Who are you to say she's not in pain? These are the things I'm talking about. There's, another thing I get a lot is people say, in terms of our mothers, it was not like that. Our grandmothers, it was not like that. Some people have no clue what our mothers before us went through. A lot of us have no clue. Do you know, we're now in 2019, there was a time when women go through so much in marriages that nobody knew apart from themselves. And they took their pains with them into the grave. But this is 2019. 2019, things are changing. And what I want people to remember is this. When these changes are happening, and it is there to give people a voice. If you can't even place yourself in people's shoes, think about the next generation. Think about our daughters and their children to come. Not to go through what our mothers and mothers and mothers before us went through silently. It is creating a voice for the next generation. So I was really pleased when I saw, to be honest, I don't think I even saw a single negative comment. She received so much, support, both men and women. And I was pleased for that. Even if not for our generation, for generations to come, these people being vocal about domestic violence and all these things, it is amazing. So whatever the story is, whether the husband was the one that was violent or she was the one that was violent, at the end of the day, the thing is this: domestic violence is being discussed, is being talked about openly. That is a good thing for the next generation. Very good thing for the next generation. So that's one area I wanted to address. And now when it comes to Tonto Dike, what I want to say to her is this, okay? I'm going to be honest, okay? From what I have always seen, or, social media or whatever, a lot of us can, if we're going to be honest, we're going to say that we have always seen her as this crazy girl, even with the picture that we all have of her, this crazy girl, whatever. We have to be honest. We have to be honest and say that. I personally can be honest and say that since she had the baby, I can say that a lot of people have seen a side of her that is a real mother. See, this is what we see. We don't live in her house. I personally have respect for mothers that take the role of being a mother seriously. She seems to be actively playing the role of a mother. I really have to say I respect her for that. And I'm going to say to Tonto Dike, let me say as if she's watching this, right? I'm going to say to you that, well done. You've spoken. You came out. You spoke your side. And I'm 100%, if speaking up makes you feel better, please speak up. If you're getting your healing from speaking up, don't stop speaking up. If that's where your healing is coming from. Like I said, pain is personal. So only you know what you feel, So if speaking up about what has happened in your life and all this is, if that is where your pain relief is, by all means speak up. If that is where you're getting your healing, by all means do so. Another thing is this, like the awareness that is coming out of it about domestic violence. Like I said, whether you are the violent one or your husband is violent, your ex-husband was the violent one, at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, domestic violence is on the table, is being discussed, and that is good. I grew up in a house where there was domestic violence, and it wasn't talked about. My time, it was never talked about. So it's amazing that in this day and age, it's being talked about easily and openly. So kudos. Like I said, keep speaking. Tonto Dike, we're not there in your marriage. We don't know what happened. It's amazing the amount of receipts and everything you have. I personally don't really like getting involved into people's marriage and all the tiny little details and the nitty-gritties. It's not what I don't really like to get involved in all of those things. The main thing I want to say to you is this. In your speaking up and being vocal about what happened, the only issue I have is this, and it's only an advice. When it comes to talking about your ex, I just want you to think about the fact that is the father of your son. Okay, you can speak about the domestic violence aspect of things because no matter what, he's gonna grow up and not be proud to know that, okay, if his father was violent, to say my father was violent, he can grow up. If he grows up and he's a good boy, he's gonna be against domestic violence as well, and he may even speak up against it as well. But the area that I have issue is where you talked about the man's bedroom issues. I feel like that was, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be honest with you, that was unnecessary. We didn't need to know that. We did not need to know that. Domestic violence, there's awareness, but that's fine. But talking about his bedroom issues, that was unnecessary. This is the father of your son. He's going to grow up. Imagine he went to school and people are going to talk about your father doesn't last up to 40 seconds. That is deep. Do you know, that is gonna be sore. Like, just, I feel like that's a bit too much. For the sake, if not for the sake, forget about it. I know you don't love the man anymore. For the love and respect you should have for your son, don't talk about things like that. I just feel like we don't need to know these things. We don't need to know these things. And people can be, what if he grows up and some people will be like, oh yeah, his father had that issue, and people are going to think he has the same issue. People will be like, oh, his father had that issue. He meets a nice girl tomorrow and the girl, oh, you know what I mean? He may grow up I'm just saying, he may grow up and feel like, oh, the whole world knows my father has this issue, and it can make him self-conscious, because some people may be looking at him and be like, oh, your father has that issue, it's possible you have it as well. It's not our business. Like, whatever it is, it's not our business. The world does not need to know that. Domestic violence, the world needs to know, but that the world does not need to know that. That is a personal problem that the world does not need to know. Another thing then I wanted to address is this. There was something you said that I like, the fact that you are very open and confident and just say everything you want to say. And that's a quality that I like. I absolutely love that quality. The confidence to come out and say what you want to say and not give it down. I like that. But I feel like it's important to choose what you say. So another thing you addressed, you said something, I can't remember how you said it word for word, but you said something like the guy faked being related to Obasanjo. For those of you that are not Nigerians watching my video, Obasanjo is a former president of Nigeria, two-time former president. He was president of Nigeria twice before. So this guy, from what she has said, claimed that he is a relative, he is the son or something like that related to the president, but ended up being that he is not even related to him at all. From what she's saying, he was just the son of the man's gardener. So as she was like, at least if he was truly related to the man, at least my son has that name to inherit or stuff like that. There was something like that she said. Tonto Dike, I'm going to address this aspect because I do not like that mentality, and it's a mentality we need to change. My dear, your son does not need to inherit any name from anybody. Let me say it again. Your son does not need to inherit any name from anybody. You know why? Because your son can make a name for himself. He can. The Obasanjo name, somebody made it. The same way your son can make his own name. Let's stop this mentality. We have to break away from this mentality of thinking of handovers. Getting something that's being handed down to you. You can be the one, as for example, in this case, your son can be the one handing down a big name to his own children. It doesn't have to be a name he inherited. It is wrong that the guy lied to you, if he did, that he's related to this man. That's absolutely wrong. It is completely wrong. But what I want to say, please do not have that mentality that it would have been, your child needs to inherit a name to be somebody. No, my dear. He can be that name that is worth inheriting. I want to say this thing because we have this mentality of people don't realize how individual we can be. When it comes to inheritance, there's nothing wrong in leaving inheritance for your children. The same thing, some people be like, the same thing our society would believe in inheriting from my father. If I marry from this big family, the child is going to have amazing inheritance. If I have a child by this person, he's going to have this amazing inheritance. No, we need to start changing from this mentality. If you have something amazing for your children to inherit, amazing. But if you do not have to, let me tell you what people forget to realize. So people focus too much on inheritance for their children instead of raising their children to be amazing individuals. Let me tell you, if your son, your daughter is successful, some people will be like, yeah, I want to build I'm not saying don't build a house, but all this, my son will inherit the house, my daughter will inherit the house. People focus so much on that instead of making their children so successful to the point that your child's kitchen will be the size of your whole house. That is the fact. If your child is successful, the size of your whole house can be the size of your child's kitchen. Let's start changing that mentality. Bill Gates, I don't think his father was wealthy. Oprah Winfrey, her parents were not wealthy. So don't create this image in our children's minds that you have to wait and be waiting for daddy to hand over stuff or hand over a big name or hand over a big house. If we focus on raising our children and giving it everything, and it looks like you're doing it already from what you're naming, if I'm the things you're talking about, the child's school or whatever, you seem to be doing the right thing already. Your child can be successful. Your child can be the one that's going to have that big name that's going to be worth inheriting. So when you said that, I was kind of like, no, don't say that, sister. Don't say that, sister. I mean it. Let's change this mentality. And most importantly, let's not forget all these material things. 10 houses, 1 million houses, 10 cars, Hummer, Jeep, I don't know what. I don't know the name of cars, to be honest. I'm not really into cars and things like that. But I don't know, this big car, what big car do what what's it called? Lamborghini, Hummer, Jeep, what other cars? All these things at the end of the day is vanity. It is vanity at the end of the day. I think people forget that most important thing is to be healthy and be comfortable. We do forget these things. But for those people that are dreaming of, has must have a big name does not take anybody to heaven. For those of us that believe in heaven, big houses, 10 houses, we need to start changing our mentality and start focusing on being healthy and comfortable. And with that, I'm just going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.